ever received. But along with that, we also have a short story that's familiar to me, because my family is used to the buses along the US and Mexico border, where the story takes place. My name is Edwin, and today we'll hear Jim Harold's and Daniel's true scary stories.
I've been doing paranormal podcasts for almost 18 years. On my show, Jim Harold's Campfire, I collect real stories of real people who have experienced strange things. But this may be the absolute strangest. It's called The Roadhouse Saloon. And this story is from one of my callers, T.I., and it may be the most kind of chilling and thought-provoking one I've ever had. She lives up in Michigan. She called me, must have been 12 years ago. This really sticks in my memory. She was going to visit at a campground that she visited every summer with her family and friends and so forth. It was about an hour away from her home. It was up in Wisconsin. So her and one of her friends at the campground said, "We're musicians. We're going to go out and see a band one night." So they drove about an hour away from their camp in Wisconsin and drove to this bar and saw this band. And they closed the place down. It was like 2:00 in the morning. In fact, her and her friend Bob, they went back behind the stage, backstage, and talked with the band a little bit and swapped war stories because they were all musicians. So anyway, they're driving back to the campground. It's about an hour away, and it's rural. And if you've ever been in the rural part of that world with the 2-lane road, can be extremely dark. There are no lights or no anything. It's literally like something out of the Twilight Zone, what this story is. About halfway, T.I. goes, "Hey, Bob, I gotta stop and go to the restroom." And Bob says, "No, unless you want to pull up a tree, we're stuck." And she said, "That's okay, just drive fast." Not 5 minutes down the road, they see this bar, wide open, lights, neon. You can hear the music pumping out, cars in the parking lot. I thought, that's weird. Everything's supposed to be closed at 2 a.m. It's a law. But they didn't look a gift horse in the mouth. They said, "Let's go and let's take advantage of the facility." So anyway, they go in, and Bob mentions, "I'm really glad we stopped here because there's this great old mural," and Bob was an artist. It's on the whole wall. It's of the Old West, and I've heard about it many times. I've never seen it, so this is cool. And they walk in, there's this big sign, The Roadhouse Saloon. So anyway, they walk through these doors, and they come in, and everybody's blankly smiling, just like an odd bunch of people, but they thought nothing of it. Bob goes to the bar, gets a couple of soft drinks. T.I. goes to the restroom. She comes back, and they sit down, they're talking, and they're looking at this painting. And sure enough, it's like a full painting of the Old West, of a bar room. They kept looking, and they noticed something weird. They noticed, okay, the guy standing in the corner on the painting, he's over here in real life in the bar. And there's a woman over here at the bar, and she's what they used to call a dance hall girl in the painting. The people in the painting were actually represented in the bar. Thought that was weird. And they talked about it a little bit, and they said, I know. These people are regulars. So when the guy painted the painting, he incorporated them. It was like a homage to them, right? So anyway, they talk, and this place seems a little bit off. And they have this big, beautiful Wurlitzer jukebox, bubbler with the tubes in it with the different colors. I think most people can picture that. And some guy's playing it, and he puts on Chubby Checker's Let's Twist Again, a golden oldie. So anyway, this guy walks over to T.I., and he smiles. He has a mouthful of rotten teeth. And he says, "Wanna dance?" And T.I. has a cane, and she holds up, and she says, "No, I don't do much dancing." And she said she was glad she had that cane in this instance. So anyhow, just the people are just strange and blankly smiling and things, and they're talking some more. And they look at the painting on the wall, and they notice something they didn't notice before. You know how in the old Western movies they would have the double doors that swing back and forth, right? like where the villain would come in and come through the doors and say, I want to have a showdown, that kind of thing. That had the doors there, the wooden doors. But they noticed something they didn't notice before. They're like two misty columns in the doors. And one is shorter and one is taller. And they keep telling us, weird, we didn't notice that. And they talk some more and they look back, and it's a little more developed, almost like a Polaroid, old school Polaroid picture would develop. And one looked like a woman and one looked like a man.
That feeling he just got. My aunt was just like, yeah, I have been going through some stuff for a while now. I tried to tell my husband, he's not listening to me. She was alone. Nobody was there with her. The old man was like, is it okay if I can go do what I was gonna do and come back and help you see what you're dealing? She's like, yes, please. I really feel like I'm going crazy. I keep telling people about these things and nobody's listening to me. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. He left and was just gonna do what he was gonna do that day. He wasn't even planning on going to my aunt's house and be like, hey, I know you have something. He just walked by and just know that there. He had a good heart. He just wanted to see what was happening. He left, came back. My aunt, she was biting her nails, waiting for him to come back. So he came back and he, okay, so it's weird looking. He walks over to the plumeria tree. He's like, shushing my auntie, and I think I can hear it. And she's like, what do you hear? I hear breathing. He starts going around the tree, and in the body of the tree, there's like a black hole. He was like, this is where the thing is. This is where the demon is. It's been sleeping in this tree, coming out at night to feed off your fear. He's like, don't do anything to this tree yet. I want to talk to you before we do anything. We went back into the house. What people usually do to protect their house, they use salt in front of the doors or the window to protect themselves from bad spirits. We sometimes use these different kind of plants. We just tie it over our windows or tie it in front of our doors. There's an opening for demons go in and out. We can also press the plastic and wipe it to the mirrors of the windows. We believe a window or a mirror is another way for them to spy on. The old man got my aunt back into the house. He said, seal the entrance. That's what he did. They got in and he said, what I can tell you right now is that what you're dealing with is a Wanina. Wanina in Marshallese is a very old, ancient demon that's been around since before the missionaries came over to the Pacifics, or even before that. There are different types. There are some that can grow as if they were just created by the leaders of these tribes back then to protect them from things like war towards each other. I guess they would start fighting and trying to look for a way to win their war. I can't really explain. Immediately, people from where I'm from Marshall, they're just gonna be like, oh, we know how that is. Everybody knows it. That's how long it's been around. He told my aunt, you have to stick it out until tomorrow. I'll help you tomorrow at dawn. Yeah, we're gonna wait until it falls back asleep. If we do it now, it's either that demon's gonna wake up, run away and look for somewhere else to hide. It's not only gonna bother you more, but it can also probably bother your baby. Flip your baby around. It could be born by its feet. I heard that their water broke early, or the baby flips over in their stomach, or umbilical cord like wrapped around the baby's neck. It's probably superstition, but this is what people usually say. There's these older women, men, who are just very cautious, very spiritual. And so he said, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna prepare traditional medicine for you and the baby. I'm gonna bring some stuff for us to fight against this. She said, what if I leave the house? He says, you can't leave the house because if you leave the house, that thing might follow you, might cause you more harm. If you are driving, he can probably show up in the middle of the road and you might swerve and hit something. It might just sit in the back of your trunk while you're driving and do something to you. He didn't want her to move around because it's not safe. Once she found out about it, he said not to move around. The husband didn't know about it, my uncle. She acted as though everything was fine and she was like, okay, you can go to work. I'll be here. You can come back whenever. But inside she was like, no, I really wish you knew what I was going through, but this is for our family. I guess that's what she said. But my uncle was like, why are you being so nice? Why are you telling me to leave her?